Binary addition is quite straightforward, but how about binary subtraction? In order to subtract two binary numbers, we can take two approaches. One is to take 2's complement, and the second one requires you to follow the rules of binary subtraction. Let's start with the easier approach, that is taking 2's complement. The first step here is to convert the binary number that is being subtracted into 2's complement by flipping the bits after the first one in the register. For example, here we can see that the first one is in the second place from the right, so the bits after this one are going to be flipped. Just like that, we have got the 2's complement. Now the second step is to use the addition rules we learned in the previous video to add this 2's complement to the binary number that it was initially being subtracted from. Starting from the right, 1 plus 0 is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 0 is again 1. And again 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 1 is 10. So we write 0 in the answer and carry 1 to the next bit. 1 plus 1 is 10. So again we write 0 and carry 1. And lastly, 1 plus 0 is 1. And there we have our final answer. Although I recommend following the first method, let's still take a look at the second one, for which you must remember these subtraction rules. Starting from the right, 1 minus 0 is 1. 0 minus 1 is 1 borrow 1. So here we need to borrow from the neighboring bit. But here is the twist. We don't borrow 1, we borrow 2. It seems confusing, but don't worry. It will all make sense once you begin practicing. So the 0 becomes 2 and the 1, from which we borrowed the 2, becomes 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. Now again, 0 minus 1 is 1 borrow 1. So we borrow from the neighboring bit. But it looks like the neighbors themselves are 0. So we jump to the 1 instead. This one gives 2 to its neighboring 0. And then this neighboring 0 keeps 1 for itself and passes on 1 to its neighboring 0. Now we learned earlier that we don't borrow 1, we borrow 2. So this one becomes 0 and passes on 2 to its neighbor. 2 minus 1 is 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. And 1 minus 1 is again 0. Finally, you can breathe now. We did it! See, that is how we subtract using the binary subtraction rules.